With lots of talk about Trump's policies and what they mean for financial markets, let's take it back to his first term. What happened? At the beginning of Trump's first term in January 2017, certain sectors were expected to perform well due to his pro-business policies, tax cuts, deregulation, and focus on domestic industries. For example, the energy sector was expected to perform extremely well, as Trump's policies were deemed supportive of fossil fuels. However, this was actually one of the worst performing sectors during his term. As a result of the pandemic, the price of US oil turned negative for the first time in history. The financials sector also underperformed compared to expectations. The tech sector performed best, and interestingly, one of the biggest winners was Tesla, an electric vehicle company. Fast forward to today, and there is a general perception that the crypto industry will be a huge winner of his current term. So it will be interesting to see how this pans out over the course of his entire term. For instance, is it possible that he somewhat distances himself from crypto over the course of his term? The AI boom is also expected to continue. During his first term, Trump promised a $1 trillion infrastructure plan. Despite multiple announcements and discussions, the plan faced significant challenges and ultimately did not materialize. In the context of bold policy proposals, will this largely prove to be the case during his current term? One thing that remains the same during his first term and his current term, and remains true at all times, is the fact that markets don't like uncertainty. With Trump's constant social media announcements, trying to decipher the exact meaning of these announcements in the context of possible policy creates uncertainty in financial markets, and therefore volatility. His inner circle would obviously not use this as an opportunity to get even richer. Of course, that is way too cynical. A difference this time is that Trump is inheriting record US deficits. Does this mean his room for maneuver in terms of fiscal policy is more restricted? Or will he just continue to run the deficit up? What about immigration? Trump is proposing to crack down on immigration and deport millions of people in the US each year. Considering that even the chairman of the Federal Reserve himself has acknowledged that record immigration has been a key reason for the strong labor market in the US during 2024, what would be the impact of removing millions of people from the labor force? How much would such an operation to remove millions of people cost? And will it even happen at the proposed scale? Then there is another huge talking point: tariffs. During his first term, Trump used tariffs as a tool to reshape US trade relationships. This time, his tariff policy is expected to be even more aggressive, with a focus on reshoring US manufacturing and reducing reliance on China. Whether Trump is using the threat of more aggressive tariffs as a negotiating tool, or whether he actually follows through with them, remains to be seen. But something that could be a significant talking point during his current term is the Federal Reserve. During his first term, Trump had a tumultuous relationship with the Fed, frequently criticizing Jerome Powell. This time, much like with tariffs, his stance is expected to be even more aggressive. Scott Bessent, recently appointed Treasury Secretary, has even proposed the idea of a shadow Fed chair, with the basic idea being that the market will care more about what the shadow Fed chair has to say than Jerome Powell himself. However, according to Bessent, although this plan was well received, it is not yet official policy. The exact path that financial markets will take during his current term, of course, remains unknown. There are a variety of different scenarios. Regardless of which path is taken, the Trump presidency could provide a perfect narrative for a recession. Why? Because his opponents would claim that a recession is a direct result of Trump and his policy. His supporters would claim that Trump is merely a scapegoat, and this is the result of Bidenomics. It is a very clean narrative that would be acceptable to the general public. Another potential consideration is the fact that the US is hosting the World Cup in 2026 and the Olympics in 2028. So in terms of optics, would the Trump administration prefer a recession before or in between these major global sporting events? Of course, only his inner circle know the answer to such questions. Whether Trump delivers some or all of his campaign promises remains uncertain. But what is fairly certain is the fact that his final term and the potential volatility in financial markets should provide a myriad of opportunities for his inner circle to get even richer.